When I was talking to Madonna on the set of her H&M commercial, and she didn't tell me about it, but she was like, "Oh, you a dancer?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh," she was like, I've got something in mind." And I was like, "What the hell is she talking about?" And then she went off, and I didn't hear anything more about it. And I was like, "What the hell was that all about?" and then about a month later, my agent phoned me and said, "Oh, there's this casting for a film that Madonna's directing, and it's the part of a girl called Holly, and she used to be a dancer, and then she turns into a pole dancer." And I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "That sounds like me." Yeah, so I went for the audition. They sent me the script, and I was like, "Cool." But that was the first I'd heard of it.
I was actually at a party in London, and Dan Cadan, who co-wrote it with Madonna, was talking to me and saying, "Can you dance?" And I know, it was really strange. And I was like, "Well, yeah, but..." And he says, "No, I've got, I'm doing something with Madonna at the minute." And I was like, "Right." And I'd never really met Dan before. And then the next day,
like,
I know, well, I was kind of like, "Yeah, all right, see ya." And the next day I got a phone call, an answer machine message off one of Dan's friends saying, "Yeah, Madonna really likes you and would like to see you for, this part." And then they sent me a script, and I read it, and I said, "Yeah, I really enjoyed the script." And they said, "Right, you start on..." And I was like, "What? Oh, is this for real?" Yeah, and it was just bizarre. It kind of all came really fast. But yeah, I was like very shocked.
I went to a first audition, and there were loads of other girls there, and I was just like, "This is weird. It's really strange." And I went in and came out, just read the script, and that was it. And then I had the recall, and they phoned me up and they were like, "Right, well done, you've got a recall. Now, the recall, you have to go to Secrets, which is a pole dancing club." And I was like, "Right." And they were like, and they said, "Can you take your ballet shoes as well?" And I was like, "Okay." So I got to Secrets, and we had to do, there were about 3 other girls auditioning for Holly as well, and we all had to put on our point shoes and show her some ballet, and then we had to show her some pole dancing. All the time Vicky's sat there watching as well.
She was like, "Do you want to stay?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I was thinking,
never really
"Oh,
actually
no,
sat in a lap dancing club before, so I might have a look.
Yeah, and then we had to read the scenes with a few other people, and it was like probably the most nerve-wracking day of my life. I was so nervous. It was hilarious. Well, it wasn't funny then, but now it is. But God.
Juliet, she's kind of the part of Madonna that wants to conquer, and sets herself goals that are, in some people's eyes, probably too much. But in Madonna's case, she has achieved those goals. And Juliet kind of, she wants to save the world. It is her passion. It is, she's one of them sort of people that will give and not expect to receive. But in the same breath, she's so confused, and she works in a job that she doesn't like, and the guy who she works with is like got the hots for her, and she's not even tuned into it. She's far too busy trying to, making collages on the wall and shoving, money pots in people's faces. It's just her, the only thing she focuses on. She's going to classes, and I think she's at the point where she's realising that how difficult it is. I think she's always had these kind of dreams that it's going to be, "Oh, I'm going to be a ballet dancer and it's going to be lovely," and she gets this stage where she's working so hard and she's doing all these classes, and she's just not getting the job. She's going to these auditions and failing, and she's just kind of really depressed and broke, no money, and she's living with AK, and AK's like, "Well, why don't you be a stripper? That's dancing, isn't it?" And she's like horrified. It's like, classically trained dancer, I'm not being a stripper. But then I think she kind of thinks, sod it, why not? And goes for it. And I think it's nice because it's not altogether horrible. Like, she realises that, yeah, it's not what she wants to do, and she doesn't agree with it, and it's not nice. But in the end, she has some success at it, and she's kind of like, well, okay, if this is what I have to do, then fair enough. She's just, I mean, she's Madonna. It's
Yeah.
like, you can only...
That's it, you can't even imagine what she's like, can you?
No.
I just thought, Madonna, I mean, massive star. What else can you say? You don't even, like, think of them as real people, do you? Like, these big stars.
It's like, in my profession, in acting, in our profession, it's one of those things where you wouldn't expect, you know, if, I don't know, a massive director calls, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's, you've moved to this, you know, this great director, and working with them is like brilliant. When Madonna calls, you don't expect it. So it was such a pleasure, because and especially for it to be her first film, you know, it's going to go down in her history, and being part of that is just, you know, you can't ask for a lot, but that's just...
We had a lot of costume fittings, didn't we?
Yeah, the costumes were the best costumes.
Yeah.
Designer from head to toe.
That was the great thing about her as well. She wanted everything perfect. Like, normally directors aren't really that bothered about the costumes, are they? They're kind of like, yeah, that looks all right, and that's it. But she was really like, no, that's totally wrong, change that. And, you know, she pays such attention to detail. And even with our characters, like the first kind of get-together we had, we sat there and we had a beer and a pizza, and we all had to like improvise together, and it was really cool. And even the read-through, we did it in costume, didn't we?
Yeah,
which was great.
I think rehearsals are really important to any film that you do, and I know that everything that I've worked on, there's always been a, you know, rehearsal period where I get to know Holly, Holly gets to know me, we're living in the same house, we have to have a connection. So when we first met, and obviously there's Eugene, who, you know, he's brilliant, he's like one of the best people.
Yeah, and I've seen both of you two in other films before, and I was like, oh my god. So it was good to get to know them before we had to be like flatmates together.
Yeah. I think she probably worked slightly differently with Eugene, only because he is, you know, I think
such an idea of what he wants to do already.
Yeah, whereas me and Holly were probably a little bit more adaptable. So if you know, if she was thinking, oh, maybe I would have played it slightly like this, then she'll play it out for us, and we'll have a discussion as to how we both feel it should be. And you know, like we were saying before, it's one of those things where if it's an energetic scene, she'll be energetic with you. You're not just she's not just sat in a chair going, be energetic. She gets up off a seat, she'll play around with it, you know. It's very full on, and I think probably with Eugene, it's one of those things where he is the character. You know, it's very close to home. And I think, Holly, yours is probably close to home. Mine's like, you know, I'd love to save the world, don't get me wrong.
And you love it if you're posh.
And I'd love it if I was posh, but I'm not. I'm common. But I suppose in that way, you know, that's probably the only difference that I particularly noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she really was really kind of personal with us, and, you know, made sure that we knew what our character was all about before she let us do anything. So it was really good. I was most scared of the one we had on the first day.
Ah, right, yeah. The one where we were the school children.
And because it was the first day as well, and we were both stood outside the door. It was the first scene we had to shoot, and we had to come in holding hands, and we were like holding each other's hand, and we were like, what the hell are we doing? We were like wearing schoolgirl outfits, and we were like, oh my god, what are we doing? We had to like skip into the room, and that was the most nervous I was. But then after that, it all got better.
I think for me personally, it was probably not. There was a scene in the shop where I have a moment where, you know, and he rips up the banner and all that sort of stuff, and I really wanted to get across just how much it meant to her, and just how hurt she was, and just how she would give up everything regardless as to what the money meant to her, and what, you know, taking the pills meant to her. She just had to get out of there. So I think that for me was a passionate and very vocal scene. So trying to get that right was, you know, probably something I worked hard on.
I wanted to be a film star. That was my dream. I really wanted to be in Fame. That was like, I was like, please let me be in Fame.
Holly.
There is still time. Maybe someone should make a new one.
Well, you can direct it.
I can't sing that good though, so. Someone could dub my voice.
Well, probably when I was about 5, I wanted to be a shopkeeper. But then after that passed, I definitely wanted to be an actress and just work on great projects. And work with great people.
So
I'm fulfilling it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Dreams do come true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.